Proteas haven't played Test cricket in a while, and for you personally, you also missed most of the England series. Just how excited are you to get back into the Test whites?
Yeah, thanks, Nazri. Look, it's been a long time. Like you say, I think the last series was England, of which I wasn't really too involved in. So the energy has been quite good. You can imagine it's been quite different from the cricket that the Proteas have been playing, because it's been a lot of white ball cricket or no cricket at all. So yeah, it's exciting. The guys are awfully excited. I'm certainly extremely excited to hopefully get back in the whites and yeah, play some good Test cricket again.
Thanks very much, Stuart, Brandon, and then Telford.
Hi, Aiden. You've obviously been in some pretty good form in the last few weeks. I was wondering, domestic form has always been pretty good for you. How do you go about transferring what you do domestically to what's required of you at international level?
Yeah, look, it is certainly a little bit different. Actually, it is a step up, and you want to perform on the big stage. So it's been nice to be able to spend a bit of time in the middle with the franchise cricket, and it's nice to be able to take a little bit of confidence from that. So I suppose that's what I'm going to try to take across. It's nice to know that I'm moving well, and things are starting to get back to where they were sort of 18 months ago. I'm not going to think too much about form or things like that. I think it's quite important to start level again when we start against Sri Lanka if selected. So that's sort of where my focus is going to be. It's about batting time again in Test match cricket, and spending time out in the middle to work things out and for things to get a bit easier again. So that's sort of where my focus will be. It'll be about batting time and spending time at the crease.
Morning, Aiden. Considering the last time Sri Lanka visited our shores, you guys went down 2-0, which was a first for South Africa. What are your thoughts on how the team could possibly overturn that result? What is your feeling and the squad as a larger group?
Yeah, look, we definitely touched on what happened the last time they were here. It's hard to pinpoint the reason why we went 2-0 down, but naturally at the end of the day, our skills weren't up to scratch, and we didn't perform like we needed to perform in order to win the series. So that's what it comes down to. I think a big positive is that we haven't played Test cricket in a while. So not even Test cricket, just cricket in a while. So the hunger levels are up there for each and every individual in the camp, as I'm sure it'll be for the Sri Lankan side. So it's about putting performances on the board. That's how we're going to get results. So if it's a certain individual's day, their responsibility is to go really big and try to put the team in a winning position. We probably didn't do enough of that the last period before lockdown, specifically in Test match cricket. So yeah, it's about getting ourselves into positions where we can win the game, and we don't want to be chasing the game, if that makes sense. So it'll be about hit the ground running, I think. We maybe started slightly slower in the past, but we've addressed that as a team, and our focus will now be to hit the ground running and put on performances that can hopefully allow us to win the game.
Thank you.
How's it, Aiden? Telford Vice here. I'm just, there are a lot of unusual things about this series, obviously. And one of them is that you're going to have two South African umpires. And that doesn't happen often these days. And I just wondered how that might change. I mean, I'm sure you expect them to be as neutral as everybody else, but how might that change just the atmosphere and the feel of the game and the players relating to the umpires? Do you think there will be a change?
Look, I think maybe the bigger challenge is playing in front of an empty stadium. Probably, I think the umpires but that I have experienced, the umpires have been really good in the sense that there hasn't been anything biased or anything like that happening. Naturally, there's the review system for decision making to happen. So that ultimately also can't get affected. So we're gonna have to see it. It's like you say, it's something new and something different because of the times we're going through. But to be honest, I don't think it will affect the way things are on the field too much. Be it if we have two local umpires or if it's guys from abroad, I think it'll still be fairly similar. And now it's going to be up to us to sort of create that intensity to simulate what it would be like if times were normal, if that makes sense.
Yeah, thank you.
Aiden, before I ask my questions, are those ducks behind you on the wall?
Yeah, it is.
I think you want to get rid of those. Yeah. So, do you have aspirations of captaining South Africa still? And also, what has been the key to your recent success in the 4-day comp?
In terms of captaincy, it's I've said it before. It's certainly something I really enjoy doing. But I haven't put much focus on that at all, to be honest. I'm in a position now, and I'm sure I'm echoing myself on the previous few things I've put on, or that's been written about me on social media. I'm almost in a position now where I'm actually playing for my spot again. So for me to be thinking about captaincy and things like that is certainly not on my radar at all. I need to score a lot of runs for the country if I do play, and for whichever team I do play for. It's something that I've addressed before and said I certainly haven't been good enough over the past 18 months. So now if I do get the chance to play, it's about just scoring lots of runs. In terms of leadership in the camp, there's, as you know, there's plenty leaders, and the nice part is there's each guy has their own unique way of leading. So the guys have almost tapped into each other from that perspective, and that's how we're going to get the team moving in the right direction, which ultimately is the main goal, is that we're going towards one mission and that we can hopefully conquer it. And then in terms of the form, I think it was a bit of a blessing in disguise this time that we've had off. For myself personally, I played a lot of cricket where I was struggling, so didn't have the time to sort of touch base with things that maybe worked in the past and to actually just slow things down. It almost felt like everything was becoming more and more rushed, sort of games on end, non-stop. And when you're out of form, it's quite a tough place to be. It almost can be a bit of a snowball effect. So that time we had off during lockdown was great. Like I said, to just touch base with things that I felt helped me in the past, and really just to clear the mind, get all the clouded thoughts out, and get a lot more clarity in terms of thoughts for batting and game plans moving forward. So that's probably been the biggest help. It's certainly not been anything technically or technical, shall I say. It's more about just clearing the mind and having that time off, which allowed me to ultimately do that.
Thanks, Shafiq. Ken, Altus, and then Danushka.
Yeah, hi, Aiden. You mentioned earlier about focusing on spending time at the crease being important to you. You're obviously quite a positive player as well. So how important has it been for you to find that balance between being positive and trying to impose yourself on the with spending time at the crease? And is that something that you've been working on, in the domestic season so far?
Yeah, Ken, look, I think a lot of it comes down to how good of a game plan you have, and then it's about how long you can stay in that process and in that game plan for, I feel. So that's when I say spending time at the crease, that's sort of the things I'm speaking about, is staying in my plan for as long as possible. If there's balls that are there to score off, hopefully we can put them away. But if they don't bowl balls to score off, we really need to be disciplined in our plans to then stay at the crease and not give it away, if that makes sense, when things get tougher and scoring becomes tougher. So I don't know if that helps answer your question. I will always look to be positive. But I think you also got to understand, or as a player, you've got to understand what conditions allow you to do as well, what the bowling attack you're coming across. what they're going to give to and what they're certainly not going to give to, and those sorts of things also play a role. But yeah, the intensity that not just myself but our batting unit, if we operate at a good intensity, I think we'll be able to put those bad balls away when they come, if they come, and besides that, then certainly help us get through the challenging times to build big partnerships and ultimately get lots of runs on the board.
Well, thank you.
Hi, Aiden. Mickey Arthur, when he spoke on Monday, was very bullish about his bowling attack, and especially the fast bowlers and the swing bowling. Obviously, you guys has looked at their bowling attack. What is your expectations of facing them in the series?
Look, most of their squad, if I'm not mistaken, is similar to previous series. So we've been fortunate enough to have face those guys. And for the guys that haven't faced them, they still have the chance to tap into the guys in our squad that have faced their seamers. So they were certainly a handful the last time they were here. So we've in the process of, and have been in the process of putting plans together to hopefully combat that. We understand it's going to be a great challenge between bat and ball, and especially on wickets here in the high felt where there's a bit more pace and bounce. So it's certainly something exciting. We need to try bat for long periods of time, like I've said, and see if we can get into a position where we can hopefully put them under pressure and ultimately, like I've said, get lots of runs on the board for our bowlers to bowl with.
Thanks.
Hi, Aiden. This is Dhanushka Ravind. In 2019 tour, South Africa lost 2-0 to Sri Lankan youth test team. How challenged will this Sri Lankan test team in here?
Yeah, like I've said, we're certainly expecting a big challenge. On the back of the previous series defeat and on the back of not having played Test cricket for a long time. So it will certainly be a big challenge for us. But in the same breath, like I've said, it's very exciting to be in a position where you get challenged on the toughest stage. So we're looking at it from that perspective. It's exciting to face challenges. It's exciting to face the toughest bowling attacks at the toughest level, if that makes sense. So we're certainly not taking anything for granted at all. We put a lot of focus on spending time in the middle, like I've repeated a few times. And yeah, if we can score big runs and spend time in the crease, it's going to help our bowling attack a lot for us to hopefully get into positions where we can win test matches and win test series again.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thanks. Aditya, you'll take the last one.
Hi, Aiden. I just wanted to ask, Mark Barger had said in his press conference before the England tour that a lot of the players had done a lot of technical work during the lockdown. So can you talk about some of the work you've done and the difference it's made to your game?
We've addressed technical work, of course. I think it's more about touching base with each individual's so-called checkpoints that make them tick, and something that I suppose the coaching staff know, that if those checkpoints are ticked for each individual, their game is in a good place, which ultimately is going to benefit the team. So I think it's different for each person. We have spent a bit of time on it, but now it's about how long we can do it for. So that's the biggest challenge, I think. If you look at how we've played Test cricket in the past, I don't think many games have even got to the fifth day. So that's our goal now, is to drag games out, obviously in a very positive way, but to really know that we've got time to spend at the crease, and that's going to be our ultimate focus. But yeah, the technical work we've done, naturally the Test squad is quite different to the guys that were in the one-day squad, and I think the technical preparation that happens for a one-day squad is maybe slightly different as well. But we have addressed it as a team in conjunction with where we think their bowlers are going to look to challenge us, and hopefully hopefully it works out for us and is something that can help us to score big runs.